Now let's do one more example before we move on to inequalities with rational numbers. I need to look for my smallest variable. It's going to be the positive 3y. So I'm going to subtract 3y from both sides. 5y minus 3y gives me 2y. Bring down my plus 3. Bring down my greater than or equal to inequality symbol. My 3's cancel. I'm left with a negative 2. Now I need to collect my non-variables on the other side, so I need to get rid of this plus 3 by doing minus 3, minus 3. I'm left with 2y. My 3's cancel, greater than or equal to, and again, do this part in our calculator to check ourselves. This becomes a negative 5. Divide both sides by the coefficient of 2. My 2's cancel. I'm left with y is greater than or equal to a negative 5 halves become 2 and a half, 2 and 5 tenths. So if we wanted to check ourselves, we could pick negative 2 and a half or any number greater than that. This is our solution. Let's graph the solution. Negative 2 and 5 tenths. This is going to be a closed circle because we have that or equal to, and then y is greater than, so I want to go to the greater than side. Now let's try with decimals. So how can you solve inequalities with decimals? Well, just like we did with our equations, we need to clear the decimals. In order to clear the decimals, you need to multiply both sides by the same power of 10. So if I look at these numbers, in order to turn this 31 and 2 tenths into a whole number, to clear that decimal, I would have to move this decimal point one time or multiply it by 10. If I wanted to change this 12 hundredths, I would have to multiply it by 100 to move it twice. Over here, this 28 and 62 hundredths, I would have to move it twice, so multiply by 100. And then on the 8 hundredths, I would have to multiply by 100 again to get it to move twice. So the largest I would have to multiply by would be 100. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply both sides by 100. Now don't forget to distribute that times 100 to everything inside the parentheses. So 100 times 31 and 2 tenths becomes 3,120 minus 12h is less than 2,862 minus 8h. So I need to collect my variables on the same side. So this time I have a negative 12h. Don't forget to look at that sign. And a negative 8h. My negative 12h is the smallest, so I'm going to move the smallest by doing plus 12h, plus 12h. And again, if you're struggling to see why negative 12 is smaller, draw a number line. It is further from 0, it's further negative, it's smaller. So I bring down my 3,120. These cancel, less than 2,862, and then a negative 8 and a positive 12 give me a positive 4h. So I've collected my variables on one side. I need to collect my non-variables on the other side to get rid of a positive 2,862 minus 2,862 minus 2,862. These cancel. I'm going to bring down my less than for h, and if we subtract 3,120 minus 2,862, it gives me 250. I still need to divide by that coefficient, so divide both sides by 4, divide by 4, these cancel, h is greater than, if I do my 250 divided by 4, I get 64 and 5 tenths, or 64 and a half. So I read it as h is larger than 64 and a half because 64 and a half is less than h. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite that so I can graph my solution. So this becomes h is greater than 64 and a half. So I want to think of my solution in this way so that it is easier for me to graph. Again, I have a 64 and 5/10. This is an open circle because we don't have that or equal to. And then h is greater. I'm going to go to the greater side. Try one more. Again, let's figure out what my power of 10 is going to be. So I can look at each number. This one needs to be moved twice, none, twice, and 1. So 2 is the most that needs to be moved. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 100. That will move all decimals 2 times. So distribute. This becomes 1,125x minus 2,000 is greater than or equal to 1,075x minus 1,250. So I need to collect my variables on one side. My smallest variable is the 1,075x. So I'm going to have minus 1,075x on both sides, minus 1,075x on both sides. Let's cancel. So my 1,125 minus 1,075 will give me 50x. Bring down my minus 2,000. Bring down my greater than or equal to. Bring down that minus 1,250 or negative 1,250. So I need to collect my non-variables on the other side. So to get rid of a minus 2,000 plus 2,000 plus 2,000, I'm left with 50x. These cancel. It's greater than or equal to. Now over here I know we're adding 2,000, but because 2,000 is positive and the 1,250 is negative, you're actually going to subtract. So again, you can put that in your calculator. It should give you a positive 750. I need to divide both sides by the coefficient of 5. I'm left with x is greater than or equal to 150. Oh, I'm sorry. Just realized I did 5 instead of 50. Back it up a step. Sorry about that. 50x. So I need to divide both sides by a 50. 50. So I end up with x is greater than or equal to, and 750 divided by 50 will give you 15. Sorry about that. So we could graph this solution. This will be a closed circle, and x is greater than or equal to, so I'm going to go to the greater than side. Now let's do fractions. So how can you solve inequalities with fractions? So we need to clear the fractions, and remember, to clear the fractions you need to look at all your denominators. And we need to find the least common multiple, which is like finding the least common denominator. So we only have a denominator of 3, so 3 is the smallest thing that it'll have in common. Oops. So multiply both sides by 3. Remember, you're multiplying every term by 3. So this is a 6x plus 12 is greater than, if I multiply, I'll get 2x. Collect my variables on one side. So to get my smallest variable is the positive 2x, so I need to do minus 2x, minus 2x. Subtract and I'll get 4x plus 12 is greater than. Now, I know this side is empty. Don't freak out. We'll be there in just a moment. I still need to collect my non-variables on the other side. So when I get rid of this plus 12 and do minus 12 to both sides, it fills in that missing piece. Let's cancel. I have 4x is greater than negative 12. I still need to divide by the coefficient of 4. 4's cancel, and I'm left with x is greater than a negative 3. So I could graph my solution. Negative 3. And this will be an open circle because this is not an or equal to, and it's x is greater than. I'm going to go to the greater side. One more one with fractions. I have a 4 and I have a 2. My least common multiple will be 4. Multiply everything, that's a parenthesis. Multiply everything by 4. So 4 times negative 10, we'll get a negative 40 minus 4 times a negative 1/4. We'll get a x is greater than 4 times 20 will give me 80, and 4 times a minus 1/2 will give me a minus 2x. I need to collect my variables, so I have a negative x and a negative 2x. Negative 2x is smaller, so think in terms of a number line. So negative 2x is smaller. I need to get rid of it by doing plus 2x plus 2x. Now remember, we use the smallest variable in order to keep everything positive. So I'm left with my minus 40, or negative 40. A negative x and a positive 2x will just give me a positive x, so plus x, greater than 80. These cancel. To get rid of my, to get my non-variables on one side, I need to get rid of the negative 40 by doing positive 40 or plus 40. These cancel. X is greater than 80 plus 40 will give me 120. So if x is greater than 120, I can graph that solution. This will be an open circle, and it's going to be greater than, because x is greater than. All right, so that's all that I have for these notes. Make sure you watch both videos in the correct order. And then the final piece I need you to do is the summary. So again, on the summary, in complete sentences, I want you to go through and be able to answer the essential question. So answer the essential question and basically summarize the video. What are the key points? What were those key steps? Any little tips and tricks? So this is what you need to do in the summary portion. So make sure this is done. That's what I'm going to read when you are doing your warm-up. See you tomorrow.